Welcome to The Nation. On this edition of Diplomatic Dispatch, your window into the world of diplomacy and international affairs, we turn our focus to Malaysia and Uzbekistan, two nations with deep historical ties, growing trade relations and shared aspirations for the future. With trade and investment on the rise and a growing interest in cultural and educational exchanges, there is so much more to explore about the future of Malaysia-Uzbekistan relations. Today, I'm honoured to speak with His Excellency Dr. KAROMIDIN GADOEV, the Ambassador of the Republic of Uzbekistan to Malaysia. Welcome, sir. Thanks for being with us today. It's good to have you here. Now, as we look at both nations, we also look at a partnership for progress and for prosperity. In the recent past, as of May 2024, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, became the first leader in 16 years to visit Uzbekistan. And not too long after that, it was, in fact, just months after that, it was in February 2025 that the President of Uzbekistan made an official visit here in Malaysia. Following these two historic leaders and their visits between both nations, what concrete progress, Mr. Ambassador, has been made so far?
Yes, indeed. These two visits, visit of Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, to Uzbekistan in May 2024, and a recent visit of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, to Malaysia, the historic significance. And of course, after the 16 years, Prime Minister of Malaysia came to Uzbekistan, as you mentioned, and our President came to Malaysia after the 20 years. And of course, after these visits, we made a huge progress. First of all, we intensified our political dialogue. We are not changing only a high level and highest level visits, but we are exchanging the official letters. In July last year, our leaders had a phone conversation, and if our leaders exchanged the high level visits after the 16 and 20 years, now every week we have the delegations from Malaysia and to Malaysia. And second of all, our trade turnover increased and reached last year the 102 million US dollars, and this year we are expecting even more volume of our trade turnover.
Absolutely. In just a span of 7 years, trade has increased by 36.9 million USD.
Yes.
That's a staggering number, especially for a country that is, has a lot more that can be done in terms of the space for trade or investment, or even looking at other sectors like education and technology.
Yes.
So it's an untapped area for both nations. Both leaders did reaffirm that they will want to look into different ways possible to strengthen economic ties as well. So this is a significant step as we see. There's also some growing interest in the area of halal industry, for example, right? So with Uzbekistan emerging as a key partner for Malaysia in Central Asia, Your Excellency, what are priority areas now for both nations? Something perhaps, as they call, low-hanging fruit, something that you can move with speed in terms of great opportunities to expand trade and investment.
Yes, you're right. Of course, during the high-level visit, our President, during the high-level business forum, announced that 2025 and 2026 years will be designated as the period of innovative development in the Uzbek-Malaysian partnership. And currently we are focusing on collaboration on high-tech and innovations with the Malaysian side. And the following sectors has a great opportunities for expanding our trade and investment relations. It's a chemical and petrochemical industry, and green energy, Islamic finance, including the Islamic banking and takaful, and halal standards, as you mentioned, and we are very closely working with JAKIM, smart agriculture. We are now working to bring the smart the technologies on agriculture, which has Malaysia to Uzbekistan, and property development, IT and business outsourcing, and of course tourism, healthcare, education, and many other spheres. In all spheres, all doors is open now for the cooperation.
Absolutely, and there's active engagement, as you mentioned. Every week there's some touch point,
yes,
and there is a lot of movement between both nations. From some of the sectors you've mentioned, they go definitely beyond 10 different areas of interest in terms of trade and investment as well. We talk about some of the hot areas, as you mentioned, green tech as well. What are some of the interests or points that you see that will be really working quickly so that both nations can hit the ground running, as they say?
It's yes, quickly. Some areas already working. It's a agricultural sphere.
Okay.
Processing the agricultural goods and processing the food. And some Malaysian companies already working in our market, and they are processing our nice agricultural goods and exporting to Malaysia. Because as you know, Malaysia mainly is importing the agricultural goods and food, and Uzbekistan is very rich to such kind of the goods, and we have good opportunities for that.
And in terms in the oil sector as well?
Oil sector and gas sector, in natural gas sector, we are begin to cooperate with the Petronas. With the Petronas and in downstream projects, and they are now considering to implement in Uzbekistan some projects, and as well as some green hydrogen and green ammonia projects. At the same time, to assist to us in training of our personnel in oil and gas sphere, because Petronas is a leading Malaysian company, and which entering to the world Fortune 500 list.
Absolutely. So definitely these projects are high value, and they bring much for both countries in terms of exchange as well. How much of investment would you say is going both ways?
And now we are working under that. Before we didn't have a solid package of investment between Malaysia and Uzbekistan. Now we have a very solid package of investment, joint investment projects. It cost more than 5 billion US dollars. It's more than 50 joint projects we are now working.
And one other area besides all of this happening is both countries, Malaysia and Uzbekistan, are interested in developing an Uzbek-Malaysian industrial zone.
Yes.
That sounds very interesting. Please walk us through that in terms of what are some opportunities that would be offered to businesses?
Industrial zone, it was announced during the visit of Honorable Prime Minister to Uzbekistan last year. And our leaders discussed this issue during the recent visit of our president to Malaysia. And just recently, at the end of February, MMC Corporation of Malaysia representatives visited Uzbekistan, and they expressed their readiness to manage this industrial zone in Tashkent region, just near our capital city. Our government already allocated 120 hectares of the land for this industrial zone, and now we are talking to our Malaysian partners how to manage, how to create the base for further cooperation within this industrial zone.
Mr. Ambassador, as a representative of Uzbekistan to Malaysia, what are Uzbekistan's hopes and aspirations to be an active player and partner in Malaysia and, of course, within the region as well?
And first of all, Uzbekistan could be a good partner for Malaysia in energy sector, and including the green energy in the sector of chemical sphere, and mining also another one
That's
sector.
a newly discovered
Yes.
area as well, where a lot of international
Yes.
focus and attraction.
Yes, as you know, Uzbekistan is very rich to the natural resources, and we have a lot of the places, untouched places for mining. And therefore, we are inviting our Malaysian partners to cooperate with the Uzbek counterpart to explore such untouched areas in our country.
Well, with diplomatic relationship that goes just touching 33 years now, there's still much more to explore in terms of opportunities and investment as well. Well, we take a quick commercial break and we'll be back right here on this edition of the Diplomatic Dispatch. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to this edition of Diplomatic Dispatch on The Nation. I'm Jessie Chahal, and today I speak to the Ambassador of the Republic of Uzbekistan to Malaysia. Your Excellency, just before the break, we spoke about some of the trade that has transpired between both countries and the intention for both President Prime Minister to further explore the remaining opportunities and partnership that is before us. But now all eyes are also on ASEAN as Malaysia becomes the chair in 2025. Uzbekistan has voiced out a keen interest to deepen this engagement with ASEAN as well. And we look at something called the TAC, the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation. What strategic benefits does Uzbekistan see in working closely within ASEAN?
Yes, indeed. Uzbekistan, the first country among the Central Asian countries that expressed its readiness to establish institutional relations with ASEAN by joining to the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation. We already sent official letter to Malaysian chairmanship on this matter, and now the member countries is considering that. And what kind of benefits we are seeing on that? First of all, Uzbekistan sees the trade and economic benefits. As you know, the ASEAN is a big, large the market with nearly 700 million people. And Malaysia in the center of this region, and Uzbekistan at the same time in the center of Central Asian region.
Silk Road.
Yes, and Silk Road. We can be like a bridge between two regions. As you know, what's going on global level now, and taking into account the very complex of geopolitical issues, we have to very closely to cooperate with each other. And from another one side, we are Asian country, and we are turning totally to the Asian countries. And first of all, we are seeing our future in the Southeast Asia countries as well in ASEAN. And therefore, we are hope that we can be also at the same time as a bridge to ASEAN countries to go further to CIS countries, to European countries and Near East countries, because Uzbekistan as a center of Central Asian region could be a good bridge and good gate for the ASEAN countries go further to the west.
Right. With that in mind, Mr. Ambassador, of late, Uzbekistan's diplomatic outreach has expanded tremendously or significantly. As you mentioned, both countries, Malaysia and Uzbekistan, as hotspots or hubs within their area or region. How do you envision Central Asia's role in the global landscape, and where does Malaysia fit into this vision?
Yeah. You're right. Uzbekistan's diplomatic activity on global level last year is significantly increased. We became one of the active actors within the international organizations, particularly UN. UN General Assembly adopted the several resolutions initiated by the leadership of Uzbekistan. And we initiated the regional cooperation in Central Asia as well. And this year, Uzbekistan is chairing in Central Asian leaders consultative meetings. It's symbolic that Malaysia is chairing ASEAN and we are chairing in Central Asian Association, and we can use our efforts and to direct our efforts, to combine our efforts to solve important regional and global issues, and we can jointly address our how to say, the intentions to the global community.
Absolutely. Now, with global issues as well on the rise, and
yes.
as you mentioned,
yeah.
complex
Yes.
at this point, we talk about some of the areas of or the vision that Uzbekistan has, that is the 2030 vision. I believe we'll take a quick commercial break and come back with more information on that, or perhaps we'll hold on to that for that motion at this point. Go back to 2030 in terms of Uzbekistan and the vision. There is a sole focus on human capital and youth, Mr. Ambassador.
Yes.
It is one of the youngest nations in the world as well. 60% of the population under the age of 30.
Yes, that's correct.
And the Uzbekistan 2030 strategy, it places a strong emphasis on areas that of course are towards the youth, and that is education, and to be on the global stage as well. So with all this in mind, how is the government ensuring that Uzbekistan becomes, in other words, a driving force for innovation, as you strongly mentioned earlier, but as well as economic growth on the back of what's happening around the world? Yeah.
Uzbekistan, being most populated country in Central Asia, of course, you said, has an enormous the human potential. Then we are very similar with the Malaysia. In Malaysia also the young population as well. And now our government paying great attention to the increasing the youth policy, and we adopted the law on state youth policy. Mm-hmm. And the Agency of Youth Affairs, Youth Union, and World Youth Association of Uzbekistan is very actively functioning, and the 20 legislative acts was adopted in our country, and more than 70 decrees of our president was adopted on youth policy, and it all this becoming the good base for that youth people is becoming the driving force. The reforms which we are implementing in our country last 8 years, and therefore according to the Youth Development Index, Uzbekistan was recognized as one of the fastest growing countries in the field of youth policy. And Uzbekistan was also included by the UN among the top 10 countries of the world for exemplary implementation of youth policy. And of course, this is need implement good policy for providing the our youth with the advanced innovation and education.
Well, you mentioned innovation and, as well as a roaring youth force that wants to go into education, technology, sectors like green energy and overall skill development.
Yeah.
You look at Malaysia, and Malaysia is, of course, a home to some of the top universities that attracts international students as well. I believe we spoke a little bit earlier before the program, and you mentioned there's about 1,000 students that are from Uzbekistan who are in Malaysia currently. Is there a growing interest among Uzbek students to continue to study here? What are some of the efforts there to really attract them here? And how can we facilitate then stronger academic changes or exchanges, but also that strategy to continue this partnership?
Yes, the Malaysian universities are very popular among the Uzbekistan youth people, because your country has a strong higher education the system and high quality training of personnel, and especially University of Malaya, the Mara University, International Islamic University, and the National University of Malaysia, Asia Pacific University, and many others. It's very popular among our youth people, and therefore, for short time, the number of Uzbek students increased the more than 1,000. And therefore, it's going further to increase. And I think we have to assist to our youth people to use the high quality system of Malaysia on higher education.
Your Excellency, I'm going to shift a little bit now from diplomacy and trade and put that spotlight on you personally, in where you are not just a scholar but also a writer with over 11 books and 70 academic articles. I'm fascinated by that. What inspired you to put in work and effort in these areas, and what is your opinion? Does literature play a role in encouraging cultural exchange and diplomacy between nations?
Yeah, of course, literature could be good instrument for the enhancing the relations between the nations. To your question, I will tell you, I came to the Foreign Office from the Academy of Sciences. So after the university for 7 years, I worked in the Academy of Science of Uzbekistan. After that, I came to Foreign Office, and now more than 30 years I am in Foreign Office, but at the same time, I am remaining at the geography. And geography helps me perform my diplomatic functions even better. Absolutely. Because having the good and deep knowledge on geography, demography, economy, ethnography, traditions, and the customs of any country, you will have a better, you will hold better negotiations and more practical negotiations. And the Malaysia is not exemption. I am using my geographical knowledge, and I promise to Malaysian friends, next my book will be on Malaysia.
There you heard it here first, and we will hold you to that promise, Your Excellency. Not much time left on the clock, but it's wonderful to know that you take a wholesome approach, that it's not just in isolation but a worldly view, as you are here in Malaysia as well. If there was one message you'd like to impart on Malaysians to take away from today's conversation about the Malaysia-Uzbekistan relations, what would that be?
Yeah, our Malaysian friends should know that Uzbekistan, which has a centuries-old history and very similar the culture with Malaysia, is a very important and time-tested partner of Malaysia, and we are open to all Malaysians. For that, we have all conditions. 30 days visa-free regime, and so welcome to Uzbekistan.
I like that. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for spending some time with us here today on the Diplomatic Dispatch right here on The Nation. Well, it looks like there is a promising future for both nations, from trade and investment to cultural and educational exchanges. The opportunities are vast. I look forward to seeing how this partnership will evolve in the years to come. I'm Jessie Chahal. This has been the Diplomatic Dispatch, your window into the world of diplomacy and international affairs. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you, sir.